Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Staff Sergeant Alex Liddell, and it is my privilege and honor to serve as your Master of Ceremonies for this evening's gala. Offering the invocation this evening is Miss Belinda O'Connor, the surviving daughter of Machinist's Mate First Class Marshal Patrick O'Connor, United States Navy. Belinda is escorted to the stage by longtime TAPS military mentor and my dear friend, Gunnery Sergeant Jake Farmer, United States Marine Corps.
Good evening. My name is Belinda O'Connor, and I'm the proud daughter of MM1 Marshal Patrick O'Connor, United States Navy, who is watching over us tonight. I'm grateful for this chance to be here representing all the kids of TAPS to offer a blessing in our evening together. Dear God, thank you for bringing us together this evening as one TAPS family. Thank you for the love that surrounds us and for the people who walk beside us, especially when life feels hard. Please hold all of our heroes in heaven close and help us feel their love around us tonight and every day. We also lift up all the brave men and women who are serving our country. Please watch over them, keep them safe, and bring comfort and strength to their families who are waiting for them at home. We pray in a special way for all the kids like me at Good Grief Camp. When we feel sad or lonely, help us feel hope. When we feel scared, help us feel brave. And when we feel different, remind us we are never alone. Because we have our TAPS family and we carry our loved ones in our hearts. We also give a thanks to the generous hearts in this room. Bless the donators and friends who support TAPS with such kindness and care. Because of you, families like mine are surrounded by love, comfort, and hope for the future. Your support means more than you will ever know. Help us to be gentle with one another, to lead with kindness, and to never forget the heroes we love and honor tonight. Amen.
From one family's grief grew a promise that no military survivor would ever walk this road alone. Tonight we gather in gratitude for those we honor and for each of you whose presence helps carry this mission forward. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president and founder of the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, the surviving spouse of Brigadier General Tom Carroll, retired Air Force Reserve Major Bonnie Carroll.
Ladies and gentlemen, and please continue that applause for Belinda O'Connor. Please be seated and welcome to the TAPS Honor Guard Gala and happy St. Patrick's Day. I want to share with you something. Our families at TAPS experience something that we like to call our God winks. Those are the moments when little things happen that just let us know that our loved ones have our backs. So, here is our TAPS God wink for tonight. Without being intentional, you heard the voice of a McDonald, the invocation by an O'Connor, our ambassador committee is led by a Mullen. We have board member and CEO of Prudential, Andrew Sullivan. Our military mentor of the year is Tanner Haggerty. Our keynote speaker is a Mahoney, and we will hear from our own Martin Dempsey, and I'm a Carroll. But wait, Sarah Wilson was the outlier, and I was sharing this with her, and she reminded me that she is the proud daughter of Kathleen Mary O'Brien from County Cork. So the Irish have definitely shown up for us tonight, and our heroes in heaven have given us that wink that they are right here with us, now and always. But even with that deep bench up in heaven, we've something stronger than just the luck of the Irish. We have love. Love that outlives loss. Love that carries our families through their darkest nights. Love that reaches across generations. Love that remembers every name, every story, and every sacrifice. It is the strength of those who have buried someone they love and still keep finding the courage to keep going. It is the pride of a nation in those who served and in the families whose sacrifice did not end with a final salute. And it is a sacred promise that when a life is given in service to this nation, TAPS will be there, now and always. That's why we're here tonight, because in a time when war once again reminds us all of the cost of service and sacrifice, we know who carries that cost most deeply. Whether the loss comes through combat, through suicide, through illness carried home from service, through a training accident, or through a sudden and devastating tragedy, the heartbreak for the families is the same. More than 30 years ago, after my husband Tom was killed along with 7 other soldiers in an Army National Guard plane crash, I began searching for others who had walked this road. What began as a small gathering of grieving families has grown into a nationwide community of care, and today it is a global movement. A promise that no surviving military family will ever walk this journey alone. And tonight, that promise lives in every heart in this room. It lives in the survivors who lift one another when grief becomes too heavy to carry. It lives in the military leaders who understand that true leadership is measured not only in command, but in compassion. And it lives in the extraordinary partners and donors whose generosity ensures that when a family's world changes forever, TAPS is there. We are so blessed to have a board of directors who stands with us, who guides us, and who ensures we have the resources and support to meet our mission. John Wood, CEO of Telos. Andy Sullivan, who leads Prudential. George Crevo of M1 Mission First. Clyde Douglas with USAA. I am humbled to have your leadership, and most of all, your friendship. Our board committees work so hard. Thank you, Scott Rutter, Brad Jacobs, Mike Janis, Joe Anderson, Aaron Newman, for the sound guidance and expertise you bring. We couldn't do what we do without you. Rosie Cloud of Brighton Marine, your support goes back decades. From sitting beside a grieving child on the beach at Camp Pendleton to leading Brighton Marine with the same compassion that has always defined your life of service. David and Ben Candon of Ostability, thank you for standing with our families and carrying our mission from the summit of the Sydney Harbor Bridge to the front lines of Ukraine. John Boyer of KVG, we have come a long way since our time in Baghdad more than 2 decades ago. You have stood faithfully with TAPS ever since, because you know how much it matters. Vince, my New Jersey brother, thank you for your heart for this mission, and Ranger Jones, you make the magic happen. To all of you here tonight, to Rochelle and the team for International SOS, Mo Khatib and our wonderful Hudson Edge family, Lisa Reichsteiner and our friends at PMI US, Mo Maji, who leads M3, John Gastrite and all of our friends at ISOA, and Chris Hagerman and the team at V3 Gate, and all of our friends at Oshkosh, and all of you in this room, thank you for standing with us when it matters the most. You all have answered the call, knowing that my call is never made lightly. Because of you, we were there for 9,560 newly bereaved survivors who reached out to TAPS just last year. That's nearly 10,000 survivors in just 1 year, or an average of 26 people like Belinda and me, who were thrust into the unimaginable journey of grief, and every one of them was met by TAPS. We were there to hold them close, listen with love, carry their burdens, and remind them that even in their deepest pain, they are not alone. You have made this possible. And on behalf of every family who breathes easier because you stand with us, we are forever grateful. This year, our nation reaches a sacred and solemn milestone, the 25th anniversary of September 11th. In those first terrible hours, TAPS was there at the Pentagon Family Assistance Center, standing with the grieving, holding space for the brokenhearted, and offering a promise that has endured for 25 years. Tonight, we honor the voices of those who have walked the long road of grief with TAPS beside them, transforming heartbreak into legacy and memory into purpose. We invite you now to witness their story.
Hey, this is Dulles Approach Control. We're tracking a fast-moving primary heading towards the White House.
Looking at a live picture from Washington, and there is smoke pouring out of the Pentagon.
It was a plane that crashed at the Pentagon, and the Pentagon is being evacuated.
Everybody back! Everybody back!
I don't know where 25 years has gone.
9/11 seems like it was yesterday.
Seems like yesterday.
It seems like yesterday.
Without TAPS,
support, connections, I wouldn't be here, really.
On the morning of September 11th, I woke up around 5:30 a.m. I waved goodbye to my mother, my father, as they were leaving for the airport. Our nuclear family was 6 people, because myself, my wife, my children, my father, and my mother.
I met Bob at the Naval Academy. My brother was at the Naval Academy, as was Bob, and they were both in the same company. He was typical of the officer and a gentleman.
Patrick was a bookworm, and he loves the Navy, naval history. He was an amazing person to me.
He was just the best father. We were a really tight family. Dave and I actually met working at the Pentagon. So it's a really odd thing to have the Pentagon be the place that brought us together, but it's also the place that took us apart.
I continued serving in the Air National Guard to the Air Force Reserve after founding TAPS. I called one of my friends to see if there were any appropriate billets, and he had something really interesting. It was in the Pentagon. It was in this little office that only existed in case Washington, D.C. was ever under attack. So I signed on in August of 2001.
He had already finished his 2-week regular annual duty for the reserve, Navy Reserve, and they asked Pat to come back to work at the Navy Command Center for 3 extra weeks at the Pentagon around September 2001.
I worked in the Secretary of Defense's office, Military Community and Family Policy. We had a staff meeting, and then we felt this big boom. So we opened up the door, and it was like pandemonium. I mean, there's 25,000 people in the Pentagon, and everyone was running for their lives.
There's no idea on the news or any information about what airline, what flights, what location, but they were 2.5 hours into the flight. It can't be their airplane. They're halfway across the United States.
I thought Dave was on the 6th corridor. What I didn't know is 2 weeks earlier, his office had relocated, and he was right. His office was right where the plane impacted the building.
And start calling his cell number. No answer, nothing. I didn't hear from my husband at all.
They were on American Airlines Flight 77. And I didn't want to believe it.
People were desperate. People were in an enormous amount of uncertainty.
I was in a state of shock and just trying to take each breath. And it was about all I could muster. But once I found out about the Pentagon Family Support Center, I started going.
It was important for the nation to know that we had a place for people to go. That became part of our job. General Van Alstyne was our leader.
They gave briefings for the families, and he said that if we had not heard from our loved one, they were gone. And that's when I had to tell my kids that that Dave was never coming home.
They had counselors there, therapy dogs, and the dogs absolutely know who needs them. And one of the rooms that was set up for assistance was TAPS.
TAPS was the only nonprofit organization inside the Pentagon Family Assistance Center alongside the Red Cross. I put out a call to our TAPS peer mentors all across the country. Would you volunteer a week of your time to come to Arlington to stay in the Sheraton, to serve as a peer mentor, to provide comfort and care, to listen, to do whatever it took, whatever was needed. There were 500 family members who stayed for 6 weeks in that Sheraton. We became a family.
I was serving as the Chief of Staff of the Army, and what TAPS is doing is addressing the most important needs that the families needed. And TAPS have far more experience than those of us sitting on the Army staff. And as long as the need remains, TAPS is there.
TAPS provided the grief counseling that many of us had not experienced prior to this on such a large scale. The speed at which mobilization took place was something to behold.
That support is a life support.
I just don't know where I would be or where so many other people I know would be without the TAPS organization. Being with others who have suffered a similar loss was absolutely hands down far above and beyond the most helpful part of my healing process.
Because everybody of TAPS group, family, knows where you are, what you have been through. They get it.
Because it's a TAPS family and it's a military family, we're still a military family. And that is special because there is no other organization like that.
TAPS is something you don't strive to be a part of, but when it happens, it helps.
It's nice after 25 years that I feel that I have a community, and that community is TAPS.
And those people who are coming after me, they are also supported by TAPS.
I've learned so much. I've been able to give back. My children have learned so much and have turned around and become mentors.
I've been a peer mentor now for 17 years, and I've facilitated a care group for 7 years.
I do what I do for all the TAPS family members, but I do it in memory of my husband.
Service and sacrifice is part of being an American, and they're not unwilling to demonstrate it. Their commitment and dedication is equal to that of everyone wearing the uniform. And TAPS, they don't hand anybody off. They own it, and they provide continuity.
The most important point I made during my last steady briefing, I told those family members present, we cannot promise that we'll be there for you as we have been over these past weeks. Look around the room at those wearing the red TAPS shirts. They're the ones who will be there for you now and always.
September 11th was a devastating tragedy, but TAPS was ready. And if the unimaginable, God forbid, ever happens again, TAPS will be there, standing strong. This is America's family.
Tonight, it is an honor to have with us several of the survivors whose stories you just witnessed. They carry forward the legacy of those they love and remind us that remembrance is not only about the past, but about the care we continue to provide to one another. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing these extraordinary survivors. Throughout this evening, we will continue to reflect on the lives of our nation's fallen heroes, their families who we support, and the enduring bonds that unite the TAPS community.
Special thanks to presenting sponsor USAA for supporting the TAPS Honor Guard Gala and honoring families of America's fallen heroes.
Service is more than a uniform. It's a promise. At USAA, our mission is simple: to serve those who serve, and the loved ones who serve right beside them. Because behind every act of courage, there is a family. Service doesn't end when the uniform comes off. For some families, it comes with unimaginable loss. That's where TAPS comes in, with compassion, understanding, and a reminder that no family grieves alone. TAPS helps to carry what feels too heavy to hold. More than 100 years ago, 25 soldiers made a promise to one another to take care of their own when no one else would. And tonight, that promise continues. USAA is honored to stand with TAPS in serving the families of the fallen and continuing the legacy of taking care of our own.
This evening would not be possible without the extraordinary support of our presenting sponsor, USAA, an organization that has long stood with the military community and the families who serve alongside them. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome member of the USAA Board of Directors, Admiral William F. Moran, United States Navy, retired.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. I think you would all agree that this is a spectacular, if not amazing, setting to be here tonight to help honor heroes among us. A few that stood on the stage just now, but many, many others in the audience. And I would like to offer my sincere welcome to all of the Gold Star families and survivors who are with us tonight. If you're here, please stand so we can recognize you, all the Gold Star families, survivors. Thank you. And Bonnie, it is always a privilege to see you, and I am struggling with following your inspirational words and your stories, and inspired by the things that you've done over the last 3 decades to not only found this organization, but to continue to build it to what it is today. I remember coming to one of these 20 years ago. I think it was on Army-Navy Country Club. Tiny organization back then, and look at where we are now. Look at where you are now. So, ladies and gentlemen, another big round of applause for Bonnie. Great job. Tonight, we gather to recognize a part of service most Americans never see. The journey that begins when a loved one does not come home. As all of you know, loss does not unfold in a single moment. It stretches along a lifetime. It appears in the mornings when the world moves on as if nothing else changed, though everything in your world has changed. It's the empty chair, the first holiday, the first birthday, the first homecoming you watch from the crowd instead of from the front row. and it's the children carrying questions far bigger than their years. All of this is why TAPS matters so deeply to the military family. For more than 3 decades, TAPS has stood beside families with a steady and compassionate presence, completing the circle of care that's so important, ensuring that survivors are not alone. As Bonnie mentioned and the video demonstrated, 25 years, a quarter century since those awful attacks on September 11th, when the world changed, literally overnight, and the lives of so many military families changed forever. Through all those years, TAPS has walked beside thousands of families in need of support, helping them navigate grief with compassion, remembrance, and hope. Tonight, and especially the past few weeks, remind all of us that when the unimaginable occurs, no military family should ever walk that road alone. USAA is proud to stand alongside TAPS, where our mission is rooted in service. For more than a century, we have stood with those who wear the uniform and with the families who quietly share in the sacrifices of military life. Military families are not just the members we serve. They are our colleagues, our friends, and our neighbors. We understand that caring for the military community means caring for families. So on behalf of USAA, it is an honor to stand with TAPS supporters, mentors, and volunteers here with us tonight, and we can simply offer thank you. Thank you for turning compassion into action. Thank you for carrying hope into places where hope is really hard to find. And finally, thank you for allowing us to share in this evening and in this sacred mission. So from all of us at USAA, God bless all of the Gold Star families, survivors, and all those serving tonight on the front lines. Thank you very much.
Tonight, TAPS is honored to present the 2026 TAPS Guardian Angel Award to an artist whose work has brought the courage, sacrifice, and humanity of those who serve into the hearts of audiences around the world, and who has chosen to use his voice to honor our military community in a deeply personal way. This recognition is given to those whose compassion reaches beyond the screen and whose commitment helps shine a light on the lives, the service, and the sacrifice of our nation's heroes and their families. Please turn your attention to the screens for a special message from the 2026 TAPS Guardian Angel Award recipient, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Welcome back, Captain Stephen.
Where am I? You put your life down on the line for this country, you leave your family, your home.
Now I'll die, my lieutenant. I am your own forever.
There is no choice. It's not working.
Hello, TAPS. My name is Jake Gyllenhaal. I wish I could be with you in person tonight at the Honor Guard Gala, but I'm currently on location filming. But please know that my heart is very much in the room with you all. TAPS has stood beside those carrying the heaviest grief, making sure that no family walks the road alone. Your love and action are a model for all of us, and I'm especially grateful to Ranger Jones for this opportunity and for our friendship and for your leadership. Ranger Jones, your voice carries the truth of service and sacrifice, and I'm humbled by your faith in me. General Dempsey, General Mahoney, and General Nordhaus, all of the distinguished leaders in the room tonight, your presence alongside the families of the fallen speaks volumes. Tanner and Sarah, what you've done is incredible. And a special shout out to Cambridge Brown. Your courage in honoring your dad is an inspiration to all of us, and it reminds us why all of this matters so deeply. Throughout my career, I've tried to tell stories that reflect the reality, the humanity, and the quiet courage of those who serve. And to know that members of the TAPS family have seen their loved ones reflected with dignity in that work means more to me than I can really express. To the families and community who live this truth every day, please know that I stand with you in honoring our fallen heroes and in supporting the families who carry their memory forward with strength and with grace. Thank you all for your courage. I'm with you in spirit tonight, and I look forward to the day that I can join you all in person. Until then, have a wonderful night. All the best.
It is now my great honor and privilege to introduce a fellow Marine and tonight's keynote speaker who represents a lifetime of leadership, service, and devotion to those who wear our nation's uniform. A Marine Corps aviator with more than 3 decades of service, General Christopher J. Mahoney has commanded at every level of Marine aviation, from squadron to wing, and has deployed across the Indo-Pacific, Europe, and the Middle East. A combat veteran and respected strategist, he previously served as the 37th Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps before being sworn in as the 13th Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the nation's second highest ranking military officer. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Christopher J. Mahoney, United States Marine Corps.
Yikes. Yikes. Guys. Holy smokes. I haven't even said anything yet. Well, no kidding, good evening. And thank you to everyone. Staff Sergeant Liddell, the voice, for the kind introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, our survivors, and all those who stand in support of military families, it's a sincere privilege for Mary and I to be with you this evening. You know, I reckoned it must be because Mary is a TAPS ambassador that they invited me to come in here. Then it hit me, like Bonnie said, man, it's St. Patrick's Day. O'Connor, Carroll, Haggerty, Dempsey, Moran, Mahoney. So I guess Nordhaus and Gutlein, you're gonna have to wait till Oktoberfest. Whatever the case, thank you for this opportunity to honor service and sacrifice, to celebrate the compassionate connectedness that is TAPS. Just consider the courageous, beautiful, and graceful invocation delivered by Belinda O'Connor. Holy smokes. If that wasn't confidence, if that wasn't someone who exudes what TAPS is all about, well, then I think we might be missing the point, because it was. Before going any further, though, I want to recognize once again the people who made tonight's gala possible. From the TAPS staff to its board of directors, to its generous donors, all of you here, and of course, the indomitable Miss Bonnie Carroll. Please join me in a round of applause. Look, the idea of TAPS is not some ethereal concept. It's not abstract. It's a necessary response to the harsh realities of the world we live in. We live in a world where peace and war are increasingly blurred. The lines are crossed, where chaos and disruption have become the new normal, where the call to serve has never been more vital or more demanding, as we are witness to right in this very moment. The service has always demanded an immense sacrifice, and the ultimate sacrifice creates an obligation for all of us who continue to serve. It's a debt that truly can never be wholly repaid, but one we must strive to honor every day. That's where TAPS comes in. Years ago, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, John Shalikashvili, stood at an event like this and he told Bonnie, he said, "Hey, look, I get it now. We, the federal government, can't do for you what you can do for each other." And he was right. And General Dempsey, who's here in the audience, said something like, hey, the government renders honors, he provides a final resting place for the fallen, and ensures the benefits for the survivors. But TAPS goes a step further. TAPS provides a generational, continual support and community. TAPS is the perfect complement to what the federal government can and should do. TAPS expands the aperture to ensure that no one, and you've heard it a couple of times tonight, no one walks alone. Visit any city, you'll likely find a monument to our fallen heroes. That's a good thing. But visit any TAPS family and you'll find survivors that are living monuments, living tributes. These living monuments are better. They're better because they have a voice. They're better because they're not a memorial to a life that has been ended, but a testament to a life that continues to inspire. These living monuments, these living tributes, are the sacred work of TAPS. This organization understands that these living monuments cannot stand alone. They need a community. They need support. They need individuals like Staff Sergeant Haggerty that you'll hear from later. TAPS preserves these monuments, ensures their foundations remain strong for generations. But to truly understand what makes TAPS special, you gotta see it for yourself. And Mary and I had an opportunity to see that firsthand in 2013. We were living at Kaneohe Bay on the Marine base there, if anybody's been there, on a place called the Hilltop. Beautiful piece of property, looks out on the vista of the Pacific Ocean. And unbeknownst to me, Bonnie and the gang were organizing a good grief camp on base in the area. As part of the event, she arranged for a large balloon release, red, white, and blue balloons, where family members can send handwritten notes up into the heavens to their loved ones. A young Marine volunteer said, "Hey, look, Bonnie, I've identified a scenic bluff here on base that will provide the perfect backdrop for what we're doing." But unfortunately, that bluff was in the general's backyard. My backyard. Well, undeterred, and as you might expect, without hesitation, Bonnie marched across the yard, knocked on the general's door. Mary answered the door, and I heard them talking, but I didn't know quite what was said. As it happened that day, Mary welcomed Bonnie with open arms, and what followed, I will tell you, was pure magic. Pure magic as the good grief campers and counselors invaded my backyard. On a beautiful windward Oahu day, full view of the Pacific Ocean, and the trade winds whispering in your face, the campers told me their stories. They told them to me one after another. But it struck me as these kids spoke, the stories weren't sad, man. They weren't sad at all. The storytellers were as determined as they were hopeful. Their stories were as reflective as they were powerful. And then it happened. All at once, they released their balloons, red, white, and blue messages to heaven. Determination and hope, messages to their loved ones, rising on the Hawaiian trade winds, heaven-bound, something poetic. But just for a second, maybe two, I saw sadness. A sadness in those determined faces as they followed their hopes skyward. But as fast as it came, the power of this outfit took over. Cheers and hugs brought back what I can only describe as a communal and positive spirit. It spread instantly and completely across the campers. I won't soon forget that day or that knock on the door, that simple knock on the door that represents the very spirit of this community. The spirit of compassion in action, the spirit of connection, the spirit of turning pain into purpose. On that day, Mary and I witnessed it. Everyone in this room contributes to that spirit. Your support, your generosity, your time. It's more than a donation. It's a knock on the door. It's a declaration that we will never forget. It's an investment in these living legacies, these living monuments. It's how we meet that obligation. Sacred it is to honor the debt that we can never fully repay. Tonight, hundreds of thousands of Americans, service members, stand watch around the globe, with many actively taking the fight to our enemies. They serve with confidence, knowing that should they fall, should they go down, their families will never, ever walk alone. They know that because of you. Because of TAPS, because of you upholding the sacred trust. Thank you for your unwavering support, May we always be worthy of their legacy. Semper Fidelis, thank you once again.
General Stephen Nordhaus has spent a lifetime in service to our country. A graduate of the United States Air Force Academy, an accomplished F-16 pilot and commander, and now a 4-star general. He serves as the 30th Chief of the National Guard Bureau and as a member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, advising the President, the Secretary of War, and our nation's leaders, while overseeing the more than 500,000 soldiers and airmen of the National Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Chief of the National Guard Bureau, General Stephen Nordhaus.
Hello, everybody. What an incredible night. It is great to see everybody. Everybody's looking incredible out there. And General Mahoney, my teammate, incredible words. Thanks for that. Can we do another round of applause for Belinda O'Connor? I mean, she was incredible. And Vice Chairman, talking about our sponsors here and making this all possible. Thank you over and over again. And Bonnie, I do want to let you know, and you know this, but even though Nordhaus might be German, my wife is Shannon Lawrence. Okay, so I'm bringing her tonight. So, and Bonnie, thanks to you. I mean, from my first days in this job to through some other events, I mean, it was just right from the get-go. You reached out, you made it all possible, and cannot thank you enough. And we'll continue to tell your story tonight as we celebrate this award that I'm going to talk about. Chairman Dempsey, thanks for being here. Admiral Moran, and a special, special thanks to all of our Gold Star families. Thanks for being here, thanks for what you do, and thanks for how you continue to serve. TAPS was born out of a tragedy that deeply touched the National Guard community, as Bonnie talked about. After a devastating crash in Alaska, Air National Guard plane that killed 8 members, including Tom, it was from there that her family found themselves navigating grief with little support. From that moment of loss, Bonnie, herself a guardsman, founded TAPS, a promise that no military family would face that journey alone. And thank you all for this opportunity to address this remarkable group here, because you all continue to do and serve each and every one and make this possible, as the Vice Chairman talked about. Our service members leave home far away and go to places that are dangerous, like we see now, anywhere on the globe, and maybe sometimes within the states as things are happening. And they do it in the name of freedom and democracy. I will carry all of you with me tomorrow as I go to the dignified transfer of the men and women of Zeus 9-5, our KC-135 aircraft that crashed in Iraq last week, supporting Operation Epic Fury. These 6 men and women made the ultimate sacrifice. And we join their family, raising up our thoughts and prayers as we mourn their loss. But I'm comforted because I know that this TAPS family will be here for these families, and they'll welcome their loved ones into this fold. And tonight, I'm honored to introduce one of the family members that is here that's going to continue to help that. The recipient of the 2026 TAPS Senator Ted Stevens Leadership Award. What makes TAPS so remarkable is that it honors life and service, wherever and however it occurs. Whether a guardsman or active duty or a reservist, wherever they're serving and training, at home in their communities, TAPS is there when a family loses someone whose life is included in that service to our nation. TAPS is there at the earliest hours of grief, and they remain for years and years, for decades that follow, surrounding families and communities with the love and care and compassion and the remembrance that truly lasts a lifetime. This award recognizes individuals whose leadership and compassion have made a profound difference in the lives of surviving military families. It's named in memory of Senator Ted Stevens of Alaska, a decorated World War II Army aviator and one of the earliest champions of TAPS and the families it serves. After that tragic loss in 1992, Senator Stevens helped encourage the creation of TAPS and helped spur on Bonnie, making sure that the surviving families would always have a place to turn for support and understanding and community. Throughout his career, he worked to ensure that families of the fallen were never forgotten and that they were connected to care and to support that they deserved. His work established a legacy of unwavering support for the families of the fallen. And tonight's recipient embodies that same spirit of service. Sarah Wilson has now become the TAPS leader for this. She came into TAPS following the death of her husband, Captain David Wilson. Like so many TAPS families, she transformed her own journey through grief into a life dedicated to helping and serving others. TAPS became a place of healing and connection for Sarah and her children. She found support through Good Grief Camp in the community that surrounds surviving military families. And out of that experience, Sarah chose to give back. For more than a decade, Sarah served as a TAPS peer mentor and a volunteer, walking beside nearly bereaved and newly bereaved families during the most difficult and challenging moments in their lives. Her leadership is not loud, but it's visible. It's quiet, it's steady, and deeply compassionate. One example close to my heart came in November of this last year in 2025, when West Virginia Air National Guardsman Andy Wolf was shot while he was on duty here in Washington, D.C. As his family rushed to the hospital just before Thanksgiving, Sarah stepped in and helped came right away. It was in the middle of this uncertainty and the media attention and the overwhelming swirling of activity that she simply stayed with them, helping them with meals, logistics, daily needs so that the family could focus on what mattered most, being together. As Sarah later described it, her role was simply to give ballast to the family while the chaos swirled around them. That night, as that event happened, my phone was ringing off the hook for multiple reasons on how we could help the family and get to the places in need. And Sarah's name continued to come up, that Sarah was finding ways to get and work things through Bonnie and the other teammates from around this community to make sure that they had the help and that they needed. And when I got with Melinda Wolf, or Melody, and I talked to Melody, I said, "Do you need anything?" And she said, "No, I don't need a single thing," because of all the support that she had been receiving. And it's that quiet strength that night that Sarah gave them in the heart of TAP's mission in surviving, helping other survivors. Through her humility and compassion and years of faithful service, Sarah Wilson has ensured that no surviving military family walks the journey alone. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing the recipient of the 2026 TAPS Senator Ted Stevens Leadership Award, Sarah Wilson.
Thank you for those kind words, General Nordhaus. It was a little overwhelming. Yeah. Receiving this award in this room full of great leaders is quite humbling. I had a chance to meet Senator Stevens a long time ago when he was in the Transportation Committee, and I'm pretty sure he did all the talking in that meeting. But he was a formidable guy, and it doesn't surprise me that he was part of the big reason that Bonnie was able to have so much success in setting off TAPS. To my wonderful children, Christina and Kai, Daddy and I could not have asked for better children. And you could not find two more loving and compassionate children. I love you very, very much. To my parents, Kathleen and Lou Procacci, they were my first role models. Dad was drafted and served in the Army in Baumholder, Germany, and Mom taught the GIs there, some of whom hadn't even graduated from high school, and so she was part of getting them up to speed and making sure that they had the kind of education they needed to have beyond their service. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for both being here. I joined TAPS only a few months after my husband Dave died. The first survivor I met at my first ever TAPS National Survivor Seminar was on Memorial Day weekend in May of 2014. And she was sitting next to me at the Marine Barracks at 8th and I at the Friday evening parade here in DC. And at the conclusion of this beautiful pageantry, the lights go out and a spotlight comes on at the roof and it shines on the bugler. And when that happened and he started playing taps, I just crumbled right into her shoulder and just collapsed into her. And she was a petite little woman in a red tap shirt. You just saw her give me this award. That was a surprise. She stayed with me. She held me when I cried so hard that my face hurt. And this is a woman who knew what it was like to lose a husband suddenly and traumatically. Her name, of course, is Lori Lachek. You saw her in the movie. You saw her give my award. Her husband, also named Dave, had died at the Pentagon 13 years before mine. And although the circumstances of both of our spouses' deaths were very different, Lori had joined TAPS for the same reason that I did, which is to find hope and healing in the wake of great tragedy. And Lori soon became my mentor. A few months later, my husband's ashes were inurned at Arlington Cemetery, and the funeral was held for September 11th, 2014. Earlier that morning, Lori had joined her Dave, or honored her Dave, at the Pentagon, at the memorial that the Pentagon holds every year for the surviving families of the victims of 9/11. And then at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, she turned right back around and came to Arlington Cemetery to stand by my family and me as we buried Dave on one of the most difficult days of my life. Because this is what we do at TAPS. We climb back down into the abyss of grief of sorrow, to help our fellow survivors make their way out. And we do it in many, many ways. Bonnie Carroll taught Laurie about the value of peer mentorship, and Laurie told me how to be a peer mentor, and then I became a peer mentor. My children saw this, and now they are informal peer mentors within their own peer groups from their Good Grief Camp groups. Every night, my younger child, Kai, joins his group of TAPS kids and saying goodnight to each other. Christina, my older child, is a high school senior who will finish her last year of Good Grief Camp this May, and then next year she's going to turn around and give right back as a legacy mentor. My children and I have gone to every single National Military Survivor Seminar and Good Grief Camp that TAPS has ever held since Dave died. During COVID, when we couldn't gather in person, we did it online because TAPS adapted that quickly for us. We've also gone to many TAPS regional conferences, which gives us the chance to meet and get to know more families who live close to us. We've shared stories and created wonderful friendships with other TAPS families at several TAPS family campouts. We created a WhatsApp group for TAPS families in our geographic area to augment what TAPS already offers so that all of us could help each other. We visit with legislators on Capitol Hill regularly to advocate for military, veteran, and surviving families. And we live right here in DC. And I tell my kids that the reason we go to Capitol Hill is because we can represent all the TAPS families who don't have the resources or the access that we have. We have made lifelong connections with grieving military families from other countries who come to TAPS, where we share our stories and our tears. And we have gone to other countries to share what we have learned in our grief journey with other grieving survivors through TAPS international programs. We attended the TAPS College Experience program, where TAPS demystified the intimidating process of applying to college. And if anybody wants to make my mother happy tonight, you will go to table 44 and ask her where Christina, who is her oldest grandchild, is going to college next year. She has already told everybody that she knows where she's going, so now she needs to tell another 600 people. We attend marathons and golf tournaments and rucking events and cycling events to cheer on teams of people who raise money for us through the Teams TAPS program. And we bond with other fellow survivors at all kinds of sporting events that are sponsored by the Teams for TAPS and Stars for TAPS program. I have personally grown so much through programs like TAPS Women's Empowerment Program and other programs that help strengthen us as individuals. When my husband died, I lost a huge part of my identity. And so I'm grateful for the retreats and the summits that Women's Empowerment offered to me. They have helped me to reclaim a part of myself and to invigorate new aspects of who I am. I am so grateful to you, Bonnie, for your leadership in 1994 to help make TAPS a reality. In the wake of your own grief, you chose to descend back down into the abyss and to help your fellow survivors. This is the model you've created. This is the model my children and I try to follow. And so I'm grateful for your kind recognition tonight, because this work gives me great personal satisfaction and a great sense of purpose to be part of this TAPS family here. And at TAPS, we are a family. We don't step back when tragedy strikes, we step forward, because we've lived this kind of life. We have the training, we have the resources, we have the community to meet a family in the worst moment of their lives and to help them survive it. And this is what makes TAPS so different. We show up in a way that others simply cannot. This past Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving, when I learned that 2 National Guardsmen had been shot less than 3 miles from my house, my first instinct was to text Bonnie. And within 2 hours, Bonnie texted back and said, "We're on it." I'm not only a TAPS peer mentor, but I'm a local, and I know MedStar Hospital, which is a Tier 1 trauma unit where the Guardsmen were brought. I know that hospital. And more than anything else, I know what those hospital walls can hold. MedStar is where each of my children was born, and MedStar is also the place where my husband died. And so I know what it means to sit in uncertainty and to hold your breath waiting for the news that will change everything. I also know how comforting it can be to have a friend sitting by you in your darkest moments. My friends, Dr. Ann Brodsky and Margaret Chris, were with my children and me in the waiting room when the doctor told me that Dave had died. A few years later, inspired by the TAPS mission, Dr. Brodsky joined the TAPS Advisory Board. And 12 years later, they joined me again at MedStar this past November, where the three of us comforted the family, friends, and battle buddies who crowded into that waiting room near the ICU as a National Guardsman fought for his life. Both are with me here tonight. And this is why TAPS exists. Thank you, please. Yeah. And this is why TAPS exists. We turn pain into purpose. We pay it forward. We honor our heroes not by shying away from the anguish that our fellow TAPS families face. We go where others cannot. And we stay because no one should have to walk this road alone. Thank you for this recognition.
You're going to draw a family portrait.
One of the most powerful voices of remembrance is that of a child who carries forward the story of someone they love. Now, to introduce the 2026 TAPS Military Mentor Award recipient and her TAPS military mentor, please welcome the surviving daughter of Corporal Billy H. Tusing Jr., United States Army, Miss Adelie Tusing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adelie Tusing, and I'm the proud surviving daughter of United States Army Corporal B.J. Tusing. I was just 7 years old when I lost my dad in January of 2021. Thankfully, my mom found and connected with TAPS. When we attended our first TAPS family camp in 2021, I was nervous to go and meet new people. I remember meeting Tanner for the first time. I remember instantly clicking with him, and since that moment, he has been by my side as my TAPS military mentor. It has meant so much to me to have Tanner as my mentor, more than words could ever describe. Coping with the loss of my dad is hard, and will always be hard, but TAPS and Tanner has helped me in so many ways. By teaching me that it is okay to open up and tell people how you feel, and that you are never alone. Tanner is an amazing mentor and best friend, and we have made so many memories together. Like when he came to my house and was scared to pick up our turkey, to when I was the flower girl at his wedding. But out of all those memories we've made together, there's one that holds a special place in my heart. When Tanner went with me to see my dad's grave at Arlington National Cemetery, I cherish this moment because this was the moment I truly realized that Tanner will always be there for me no matter the situation. It is an incredible honor to share this stage tonight with Tanner as we recognize his incredible service and support of so many children at TAPS like me. Ladies and gentlemen, I am now proud to present United States Army Staff Sergeant Tanner Haggerty with the 2026 TAPS Military Mentor Award.
It's truly an honor to be here tonight. I want to begin by thanking the military leaders in this room and everyone who stands with TAPS. Your support means the world to the families who carry the memories of those we've lost. Most that know me know that while I'm an extreme extrovert and no stranger, part of what makes TAPS the best place for me, I would much rather be in a group room right now full of kids and my fellow mentors than in the bright light center stage. And because of that, if I look nervous, I promise you I am. I would not be standing here today if it weren't for so many people in my life. I'm lucky to have some of those people here with me this evening or watching down on me. First and foremost, thank you to my mother. You showed me from a very young age what it is meant to have a servant's heart. And Randy, to the best stepdad a boy could ask for, thank you. You stepped into my life at a time when I needed strength, love, and guidance, and you gave me all three. You helped shape the man I have become. As a Navy veteran, I hope you will take the leap and become a TAPS military mentor, because the same steady love that changed my life would heal a grieving child's heart. To all of my commanders, thank you for signing my leave forms, allowing me the opportunity to travel the country and support as many TAPS events as possible. To all the families of our fallen here tonight and those who come to TAPS Good Grief camps across the country, thank you. Thank you for trusting us with your children, your stories, and your heart. It is an honor of a lifetime to walk beside you. It is also an honor to be in the presence tonight of those who have accepted this award before me and other military mentors. I ask that if you've ever worn a TAPS blue shirt, to please stand and be acknowledged. Last but not least, to my favorite TAPS mentor, my partner in crime, my beautiful bride. Babe, your sacrifice never goes unnoticed, nor does your dedication to mentorship here at TAPS. I love you. In 2019, I walked into my first TAPS Good Grief camp here in our nation's capital at the annual TAPS National Military Survivor Seminar. In true Tanner fashion, I was almost 4 hours late because of mission requirements. And when I stepped into my first group room, my heart was pounding much like it is tonight. I remember thinking, am I in the right place? Will I be enough for these children? Can I make any difference at all? All that nervousness and doubt faded quickly when not even a minute after entering that room, an 11-year-old kid walked up to me and said, I don't have a mentor, but you seem cool. Would you be my mentor? That simple question would change my life forever. That kid was Landon Casales, and he's no longer little. This past Memorial Day, I had the honor to not only watch him graduate from TAPS Good Grief Camp, but also graduate from high school in Dallas, Texas, about 2 days later. At a TAPS family campout 5 years ago, I met a little 7-year-old girl who completely stole my heart. At every activity, she would come running as fast as she could just to give me a hug and talk to me, telling me absolutely everything on her mind. That little girl was Adelie. Adelie, I'm honored to have shared this stage with you here tonight. You have taught me far more than I could ever teach you. The most important lesson I've ever learned from you is courage. It takes courage to walk into a room of strangers, make connections after such a huge loss. It takes even more courage to open up and let someone into your life and share with them your darkest thoughts and your feelings around the massive grief for your dad. A simple phone call that starts out talking about multiplication tables, dividing with fractions, turns into talking about your dad. And thank you for trusting me with math and those conversations. Everything I've been able to accomplish within TAPS and the impacts I've made are the same reasons I continue to wear this uniform. It's to live by the 7 Army values, and also the values of the Army Chaplain Corps. Nurture the living, care for the wounded, and honor the fallen. Not only do we get a chance to do this in one weekend, but we normally do it in a matter of 30 minutes. TAPS is where courage meets understanding, where people gather in a safe and loving space to share the stories with others who truly understand. For the children at Good Grief Camp, that's life-changing. Too often, they are sitting in classrooms surrounded by their peers who cannot possibly understand what the weight they were carrying or what it feels like to walk through the world after such loss and such aloneness. At TAPS, they're no longer alone. They are seen, understood, embraced by other children who know the same pain, and in that connection, healing begins. To all who wear the uniform or once did, this is your call to serve once more. Put on the blue TAPS mentor shirt, stand in the sacred space beside grieving kids like Adelie and Landon. Your presence matters, your compassion matters. In the most painful moments of their lives, you can be the steady hand, the strong heart, and the living reminder that they do not walk alone. Thank you for this extraordinary honor. I accept it for every military mentor who has ever knelt beside a grieving child, sat quietly with a broken heart, or showed up in a blue shirt to say, without words, you do not have to carry this alone. If tonight each of us leaves here ready to stand a little closer, love a little deeper, and serve these families a little longer, then together we will honor the fallen in the most beautiful way possible by caring for those who they loved. Ms. Bonnie, thank you for such an incredible organization. Thank you all, and good night.
The legacy of service lives on, not only in those who wore the uniform, but also in the sons and daughters who carry their stories forward. Tonight, we will hear from a young man who reminds us that remembrance can become action, and grief can become purpose, and we can all make it matter. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the surviving son of United States Navy Master Chief Petty Officer Robert E. Brown, Mr. Cambridge Brown.
Well, good evening, everyone. It is an honor to come out here, but before I start my speech, I would like to thank some people. I would like to thank Ms. Bonnie for bringing me out here. It has been an honor working with you through these past couple years at TAPS. General Dempsey in the back with the unicorn. We all know that's your trademark. And my loving mom getting me out to every TAPS event, even in Europe. We've always flown out here, actually flying out here for only 2 days just to come here. So thank you so much. And to my first TAPS donor, I forgot her name for a second, Miss Carrie. When I was told I was going to be giving this speech tonight, my mom asked if I wanted help writing this. I told her no. It needed to be from the heart. My dad was Master Chief Rob Brown and He was in the Navy and died July 11th, 2021 from a brain tumor caused from the burn pits in Iraq and many jet crashes where he breathed in a lot of bad stuff when he was doing rescues. You see, he was a search and rescue corpsman. He served 24 years in the Navy with the Marine Corps, from divisions all the way to Special Operations Training Group. He helped develop the CASVAC program when he first went to Iraq. I don't understand what all that means, but I do know it means he saved lives. I also know that he received the medal from President George H. Bush personally for risking his life to save others. I grew up listening to his friends tell us all sorts of stories. Stories about crazy missions, stories about deployments, and stories about crazy missions, and even the time they strapped him to a flight deck. That was my favorite one. My dad loved serving his country. He always said he would do it all over again. He said he probably should have died on the battlefield. So the cancer was his cross to bear. I'm starting to understand what that means. I've learned these last few years that I'm my dad's legacy. Even when he was getting chemo every day, he never stopped being my dad, and he never stopped being a sailor. His buddies would still come over and ask him for advice. But when he died, none of that mattered. God took my best friend, and my brain couldn't understand why. 2 months later, my mom had a PCS because it was too hard to work at the hospital where my dad died. I was 7. I didn't understand. I was just mad. We moved in the middle of the school year. No one knew me. No one knew what I had been through. When I got sad, teachers didn't always get it. Kids made fun of me. I was in 2nd grade, just trying to be a kid. My mom signed me up for sports that same year. What a good decision she made. Then kids made fun of me for having a mom as the coach because she was always the only girl coaching all boys. Now I think it's pretty awesome. She actually sometimes knows what she's doing. But when you're 7 and kids are making fun of you for not having a dad, it just feels unfair. Then my mom got me into TAPS, Camp Good Grief in Washington, D.C. on Memorial Day weekend. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to sit in front of another adult saying, "I'm sorry that your dad died. Do you want to talk about it?" I was tired of being different, tired of being the kid without a dad, tired of feeling like a burden to my mom because she was always sad, and I didn't want to disappoint her by being sad. At opening ceremony, I sat there wishing my mom would just come get me, and then a man walked on stage. I didn't know who he was, and then he started singing the Unicorn song. Ever since I was little, me and my dad would lay in my room every night and play music so I could fall asleep. Even during chemo, that never stopped. And whenever my mom was home and not traveling for work, we'd play the Unicorn song, and I would make her do a silly dance while it played. That was our thing. Me and my dad would just lay there and laugh at her. So when that song started to play, something changed inside of me. I didn't feel alone anymore. That man singing that song was General Dempsey. And he didn't just sing a song. He stayed. He showed up for me. Even today, he picks up the phone at the craziest times because I live in Italy now. He always answers it the same way, and my heart always feels whole. I know he's not my dad, but I know my dad put him in my life. Last year, he couldn't come to TAPS because his family needed him. And that's where I realized something. TAPS has changed, and I felt like kids weren't getting the same experience I had my first time. So I talked with Miss Bonnie and told her how I felt. She explained that TAPS has become more inclusive, and when that happens, more kids need help. Costs go up, and they are trying their best to keep the fundamentals the same. That's when I realized something really important. I can't just keep taking from TAPS. My dad's legacy is bigger than just me. I have to give back. I have to be the person another kid can look to and say there is hope. I don't want to go to heaven anymore and be with my dad right now. I know I'll see him one day. But today, I just want to make sure I am making him proud. So everyone that in this room who has supported TAPS financially or emotionally, thank you on behalf of kids like me. Tonight, I'm asking you to help make TAPS even bigger in 2026. At the start of this year, I set a goal to raise $1 million. As you can probably tell, that is going as well as you expect. But I know that I might not reach it this year, but I do know this. Tonight, I have a goal for $150,000. And honestly, with supporters like you in this crowd tonight, I believe we can get there together. On the other side, with the $1 million, I know I won't quit trying until I make that money. From Memorial Day to next Memorial Day, every year, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep challenging myself, and I'm gonna keep raising money to help families like mine. My dad taught me something that I will never forget. When someone says you can't do something, you'll fight even harder. That's what he did. The doctors told him he had less than 3 months to live. But my dad didn't give up. I watched him learn how to walk again. I watched him learn how to talk again. I went to therapy with him. We played with silly putty and marbles so he could use his hands to play Hot Wheels with me. He was fighting for his life, but he was also fighting to be my dad. He didn't live 3 months. He lived 3 years. He died 1 week after my 7th birthday. And even though I was young, I remember his strength. I remember how hard he fought just to stay with me. He was in pain every day, but he never gave up. His motto was stay focused, stay alive. And that's what I tried to do. So tonight, I'm asking you to help me. You can give money, you can give your time, or you can simply donate supplies. Or, even easier for you, you can tell someone about TAPS. Because TAPS isn't just an organization, it's a family. It's my family. When my dad died, there was a hole in my heart. TAPS didn't replace him. Nothing ever could. But what they did is help me understand I'm not alone. They gave me friends who knew what it feels like. He gave me family support when I needed it most. Every choice tonight we make matters. And tonight, you get to make your choice. You can choose to help families that are hurting. You can choose to help kids like me. You can choose to make TAPS even bigger in 2026. I'm choosing to fight for it. I hope you'll fight with me. So what do you say? Are you ready to make it matter? Yes. I would now like to welcome a very good friend of mine, or a unicorn buddy, on stage, General Dempsey, if he's somewhere around here.
So this is one of those moments where if a general had any sense, they would just shut up and let Cambridge carry the day. But no one's ever accused me of that, especially this guy. So I'm going to ask Cambridge a few questions here and see how quick he is on his feet. And then we'll see how we actually end this thing tonight. There could be, since it is St. Patrick's Day, something Irish involved, but we'll see. Cambridge, your mom is balancing her own very successful career in the Navy with her equally and maybe even more successful career raising you. Can you give us some insights about how she does it?
Well, first off, I'd like to say you call her career successful. Just kidding. But she rules it with an iron fist with me. She shows me what it is like at her office. Pandemonium, I'd like to say. It's everywhere, especially with what's going on in the world right now. She shows me what's happening. She doesn't try to not show me what's happening. So I know when she's gone at all hours of the day, I know that she is helping people in need, especially with all the evacuees coming in from Europe right now to Sicily. I know that she is helping people in need, and I know that she is not just sitting at work doom scrolling on her phone. I know that she is helping people in need.
You're sure?
I'm very sure.
Okay. So she's making it matter at work as well as at home, huh?
Oh, another thing to add to that is that I always get onto her about this. She always puts other people before her. The CEO literally has to get onto her. He said once, and I heard it, don't try to get out of this, Mom, that she needed a day to go get her hair done or a massage. I looked at my phone, and I'm like, oh, Mom, are you getting your hair done? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, then why does it say you're at home right now? And I'm like, when the CEO tells her to go do something, she's like, oh, okay, I'll go do it. No, she's on her computer at home still trying to help others.
And you catch her. Okay, the second question has to do with you and the way you have embraced your peers who are going through the same thing you are at the Good Grief Camp and other places. So now that you're a veteran of the Good Grief Camp, what do you tell a young boy or girl who just recently lost one of their loved ones, now that you've been through it? What do you tell them?
It's a hard one. I would tell them that you're not alone in this journey, that everyone here is going through the same battle that you are. Everyone here has their own unique story. So I'm hoping that you will share your unique story with everyone here. And like I said in the beginning, you are not alone. Everyone here will help you through this journey, and not gonna sugarcoat it. It's not gonna be easy, but hopefully we can make it a little bit smoother sailing than it should be without TAPS.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, that was the hard balls. A couple of softballs. You're a baseball player, so it wouldn't be softball. It'd be like a slow pitch.
Change up.
What do you think? Tell me something that you've learned recently that is important to you.
It's gonna come out a little weird because I have been thinking about this because I've been getting asked by my mom this. That since my dad died, it has opened up a lot of opportunities for me. Do I wish my dad had ever died? No, I never wished that. But since he did die, I've gotten to be in this room with all of you right now. I've got to meet the best General Dempsey and the lovely Miss Bonnie. And without my dad passing, I wouldn't have been here in this room. So that is one thing that I think I've learned, that tragedy opens up new doors. They might be tough getting through those doors, but eventually you will be able to get through.
That's such a great lesson. If you could make one rule for everyone, come on over here, by the way, because see that X? That's your X.
Oh, okay.
Don't stray from your X. If you could make one rule for everyone in the world to follow, what would it be?
Well, I'm going to give you my selfish answer first. I'm going to say that the dealer who is giving my mom the order to PCS, that I'd get to choose it first. I don't want to be packing up my room every 3 years and leaving behind friends. If I were to tell you the non-selfish answer, I would say that any child that has lost a loved one can get the help that they need in a snap. Unlike if we wouldn't have found TAPS, if me and my mom wouldn't have found TAPS, things would have been a lot more different. I wouldn't have been the young man you see today without General or Miss Bonnie or my mom. But some kids aren't able to get that help as quick as I was, so I want it to be more open to them. I want them to find it out a lot sooner.
All right. Someone told me you had a question for me.
Yes, I do.
What is it?
From what I see, you have a picture perfect life from the book that I read about you. You married your high school sweetheart. You were the 18th chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And what your book says is your most precious item, your grandkids. So what is one thing that you think that you did was not successful, and how would you change that or did not go your way?
Wow. Out of the mouths of people smarter than yourself as a sixth grader. Well, for one thing, well, I was the chairman from 2011 to 2015, 4 consecutive years. Navy beat Army in football.
Okay.
I'm still, you talk about trauma. No, seriously, I mean, the one thing, look, I think the one thing, I would always go back and wonder, could I have done it better, would be communicate with those entrusted to my care. Because when you're a leader, people are entrusted to your care. I mean, literally, they put their trust in you. And I think I did pretty well at that, but I can recount times in my career when I thought, maybe I could have done that better. So for those of you leaders, and not in the military exclusively, but the more you can help people understand why, the better off we're all going to be. And so that's what I would say. Okay, now it's my turn again. This is a lightning round for Cambridge. English or math?
Math.
Math?
Math.
You do know I have a degree in literature from Duke University, right? Come on, you should do your homework better. French fries or salad?
So if I'm in Italy, I'm going to say salad. If I'm in America, I'm going to say fries.
Wow. Okay, good. Yankees or Red Sox?
Neither. Padres.
Padres?
Padres. Padres.
Who are they? Army or Navy?
Depends on if I'm liking my mom that day, or if I'm in the mood, or if I'm in the mood to talk to you. If you persuade me to get to Army, or if my mom is just arguing with me that day, saying, "Oh, you don't need to talk to General Dempsey today," or you have to say go Navy, be Army to General. I'll probably go with Army or Navy.
Yeah.
Oh, I never said I would be going with Army. I said I
okay.
might go with Army.
Wishful thinking on my part. Okay, and if you could have a pet dragon or a pet unicorn?
You can answer that yourself, I think you.
No, you can do it.
Unicorn.
Unicorn, let's do it. All right, here we go.
All right, hold
it's
up.
St. Patrick's Day. You ready?
Before we do that, I meant to say this beforehand. My dad has challenge coins. And if you know what a challenge coin is, it is gifted to you when you do an honorable act. So what I am doing is any donation over $5,000 will get one of my dad's challenge coins.
Wow.
Yes.
And there's QR codes all over the place here. So.
Yes, everywhere.
Is that a gentleman has a question?
I thank you. I have a donation, so I'll start with $10,000.
Ooh, I like that.
Wow. So this is a song, and today's only Tuesday, but it'll give you credit on Sunday for Mass, right? Can we do that?
Yes.
It's about Noah and his ark, and it goes like this. A long time ago when the earth was green, there were more kinds of animals than you've ever seen. They'd run around free when the earth was being born, and the loveliest of all was the unicorn. Well, there were green alligators and long-necked geese. There were humpty-back camels and chimpanzees. There were cats and rats and elephants, and sure as you're born, the loveliest of all was the unicorn. Okay, here's my observation. There were like five people. All right, I'm going to take this slow for you. Well, there were green alligators and long-necked geese. There were humpty-back camels and chimpanzees. There were cats and rats and elephants. Sure as you're born, the loveliest of all was the unicorn. Now, the only one that's a little dangerous is that one. If you poke yourself in the eye,
It's not going to be good.
you're right. Well, the Lord seen some sinning, and it gave him pain. And he said, stand back, I'm gonna make it rain. Hey, brother Noah, I'll tell you what to do. Build me a floating zoo, and get some of them green alligators and long-necked geese. Get some humpty-back camels and chimpanzees. Get cats and rats and elephants, sure as you're born. Don't you forget those unicorns. Now we're up to about 25% here.
Yep.
By the way, I can go all night. So I don't know if you have any place to go. If you do, start gesturing. Well, Noah was there to answer the call. He finished up the ark just as the rain started to fall. He marched in the animals 2 by 2, and he called them as they came through. Hey, Lord, I got your green alligators and long-necked geese. I got humpty-back camels and chimpanzees. I got cats and rats and elephants, sure as you're born. I just can't find no unicorns. Well, Noah looked out through the pouring rain. Those unicorns were hiding, playing silly games, laughing and splashing as the rain came pouring. All those silly
unicorns.
Well, there were green alligators and long-necked geese. There were humpty-back camels and chimpanzees. There were cats and rats and elephants. But Lord, I'm so forlorn, I just can't find those unicorns. Well, the ark started. This is the sad part. Right?
The ark started drifting.
Yeah, it is sad. It's very sad. The ark started drifting. It drifted with the tide. Those unicorns looked up from the rocks and they cried. Those unicorns looked up from the rocks and they cried. Boy, that's some miserable crying, by the way. And the rains came down and sort of floated them away. And that's why you'll never see a unicorn to this very day. But you'll see green alligators tigers and long-necked geese. You'll see humpty-back camels and chimpanzees. You'll see cats and rats and elephants. But sure as you're born, you're never gonna see no unicorn.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Best musical duo.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment, we will invite our TAPS families to come forward and join us on stage. You carry the stories, the love, and the living legacy of those we honor tonight. Also joining us once more are the DC Anthem Singers to perform Mansions of the Lord, featuring Master Sergeant Kevin Gibo, United States Army, followed by America the Beautiful.
To fallen soldiers let us sing, where no rockets fly nor bullets swing. Our broken brothers let us bring to the mansions of the Lord. No more bleeding, no more fight, no prayers pleading through the night. Just divine embrace, eternal light in the mansions of the Lord, where no mothers cry and no children weep. We will stand and guard though the angels sleep. All through the ages safely keep the mansions of the Lord. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. Please join us. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee,
Thank you. Thank you, all of you, for the love that you have shown us this evening, for the support you give to our mission, to our families, for standing with the families of America's fallen heroes.
Is this mic on? I would like to thank...
You're good.
I would like to thank all of y'all for coming out here tonight and for honoring everybody who is up here. It has been a great honor to speak in front of all of you, and I can't put to words what it feels for all of y'all coming out here. It just makes my heart feel somewhat whole with all of y'all being out here and supporting everyone.
Thank you all so much. We love you, and this is our place where legacies live and love is spoken. Thank you all. We look forward to seeing you next year. The support means the world. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us tonight as we honor lives of service and sacrifice and the families whose love ensures their stories will never be forgotten. We ask all survivors to please stay on the stage for a photo. Because of your support and generosity, the mission of TAPS endures, and TAPS will continue to surround grieving military families with hope, healing, and community 24/7, today and always.